Okay, let's talk about how you're actually going to take in your data. So you've found a pre-assessment, and it's probably a text-based pre-assessment, and we want to be able to apply this online, right? Because it's a minor in online teaching, right? So you want to be able to take this and put it online. So I'm going to give you three possibilities, okay? First one happens to be Quizlet. Okay, Quizlet's popular in schools. It's kind of great for um, basically learning terms, especially the free version, because you can't really do anything else with it. Like you can't add an image set or anything else without you upgrading. Um, but what you can do is, so like for instance, if I decided to create a class here, so if I do math, um, fourth grade, okay, and I allow students to see my sets and new members to add, etc. So I'm just going to add in Ashland University. Okay, so we'll do that. I'll create the class. It asks me to add a study set. Okay, so basically you can, I've already added one just to test it out, but I'm going to give you a basic set here. So I can create a new set. So what I said in my fourth grade lesson was I was going to go over the term census. Okay, so census as a term, I can look it up. Apparently it's in English, so select my things first. Um, and it's a complete enumeration of population or population count for official survey of the population. So I'm actually going to use that one because that's a cooler definition. Um, Data, I'll add that. Um, Information coded, figures, facts, figures, and other evidence gathered through observations. I'm going to do that. This one here, graph, which is our output. Graph is, for our instance here, is a diagram showing a relation between variables. So I'm going to select that one. So that actually creates a data set. If I wanted to define something by an image, so for instance, put a bar graph in there and have students try to interpret what's in the bar graph, or maybe differentiate between a line plot and bar graph in two separate ones. I could do that if I had the upgraded version. I don't have the upgraded version, so this is only good for us in terms of terms. Uh, so I'll do pre-assessment data plotting, plotting, and interpretation. So hit create there. I'm not going to share it with anybody except to my class. Okay, so that's there. I kill it. All right, so what do you do with this thing? Well, number one is you've got flashcards. So kids could actually go and take a look. So, you know, census and
An official count or survey of a population, typically recording various details of individuals.
okay, so it reads it back. So in terms of intuitiveness, it's pretty nice for kids that have text-based disabilities, pretty good, and also for those with visual-based disabilities. So data, again, I'm going to click on it, right? So
Facts, figures, and other evidence gathered through observations.
okay, so let's say we get through that, right? And I want to hit learn there, right? So I can type in the answers, right? Facts, figures, and other evidence gathered through observation. So type in data, and there we go. Correct. Press any key to continue. You got speller and you've got test. So if I test this here, right? So facts, figures, and other evidence, data, official count, census, graph, true or false, facts, figures, and other evidence gathered through observation. False, because that's actually data. And then I can check my answers, and they're all correct, etc. So if you click on go back to Quizlet, then you can actually take a look at class progress, but apparently you can't because you have to pay for it. And then you can go to scores. So after you actually have data inserted in, you should be able to do that, having shared it with your colleagues in your group. You should be able to come up with the score of those who completed Learn, etc. All right, so let's talk about another one, SurveyMonkey. So SurveyMonkey can also sign up for free. I would just use your Google login and do that. If I hit create survey, SurveyMonkey is much more powerful in nature. All right, so if I go pre-assessment, math, and category, I'm just going to do education. Let's go. All right, so then you can select from a list of different types of questions. So for instance, I'm just going to do multiple choice. You guys can explore these, and I really encourage you to explore these in um, creating your actual pre-assessment and putting it up on here. So for instance, like here, let's say that I wanted to include a graphic to see whether the students can interpret it, because again, I'm doing bar graphs, right? So if I go to, in this case, I'm going to try to get a graphic that represents the material. So I've already sourced something on Google that I can use with my students as a graphic. I'm going to go to this location, so I'm just going to copy the actual location of it. And then if I want to, I'm just going to answer. First, I'm going to ask a question. What age group made, because it's a previous test, the most money? Okay, so I'll leave that like that, but then I'm going to add in a graphic and ask me for the source. I'm going to just go like that. If you need to make it smaller, you would just constrain these. So right now, it constrains the size. If it's there, it means it's there. Okay, then I put in the answer choices. Again, this is a survey format. So in this case, there's no right or wrong answer. You're just collecting the data, and you're going to see um, how many students would answer that correctly or incorrectly, or what the misbelief is. So if they're interpreting the data incorrectly, obviously they're getting a wrong answer. And if there's a trend there, then you're trying to figure out what the trend is. So 25 to 34, 35 to 44, and 45 to 54. Okay, so then I hit save. That's what it looks like. Of course, you're gonna have more than one question on your pre-assessment, but that's what it would look like. Again, basically you can preview your test here, and then you would distribute it out to your peers, and then you would go and look at the data, right? So you'd go in to look at the data and see exactly what exactly was done. So let me go back to preview for a second. That's the correct answer. So I can go back to the survey editor and go over here so you guys see it. So it sends you out a web link, right? So you can distribute that to your group, right? You've also got ways to send down here as well. Okay, let's say it's all done. You'd actually go to Analyze Results, okay? And I've got no responses yet, but you can see data trends. No, you can't because you're not upgraded. So you actually just see the summaries that are involved, and you can also export out. Again, you can't export out because it's a paid feature. So you can collect responses or buy responses. All right, so again, a lot of upgrades, a lot of rules in there. So if we go on to a third mechanism, all right, so if you're, say, in your calendar here, and you go to more, so you're going to go into the Google machine, and we go even more, and where's the app suite? Google Apps for Business. There we go. Okay, so if you click on Forms, you can also collect data through this type of format. Okay, so basically you're building yourself an online form. Okay, what we'll do is got different types of questions like before. Okay. Okay, so if I go add item, I can go to image. I'm gonna again go by URL just because it's gonna be a lot easier. Hit select. Okay, it appears there. So I should be able to done there. And then I can actually drag this up above the other one. So who made the most money? Again, I'll edit it. And then we have our several options. And you guys get the idea. So basically, we create multiple options. Okay. And then I'd hit done there. So basically what happens is you create yourself a nice little form to collect your data, okay? And you go through adding questions, all right? Eventually you complete it, okay? And it says send form. It gives you a link towards it, or you can add in your group's emails, your AU emails to distribute it. Once it's distributed and they start taking it, you can actually check the live form. That's what it would look like, okay? And then you can go to view responses, and that'll actually show you in a spreadsheet format of the responses, so then you can analyze your data that way and build your infographic out of that.